in the global village.
Good evening. This is the 5FM Radio Main News. The headlines. UPND Director General for Media in Presidential Support System expresses concern with misinformation surrounding Constitution Amendment. ECZ reviewing the 2019 delimitation report. And Iceland volcano erupts after Blue Lagoon evacuated. This bulletin is also live on our Facebook, 5FM, and YouTube, 5FM Radio Zambia. With the details, my name is Lance Sannie Banda. UPND Director General for Media Presidential Support System, Frank Bwalia, has pointed out that there is a significant amount of misinformation being spread regarding the constitutional reforms currently underway in the country. Speaking when he featured on the Tuesday edition of the Burning Issue program, Mr. Bwalia emphasized that these misleading narratives are intentionally designed to deceive citizens with the aim of swaying public opinions and preventing widespread support for the reforms. Regarding to Mr. Bwalia, this disinformation is strategically being used to undermine the legitimacy of the reform process and to create confusion among the Zambian people, thereby hindering progress and making it more challenging for the government to gain the necessary support for constitutional changes that are essential for the country's development.
Sometimes things like this are produced to hoodwink people, and there is a lot that is being produced to hoodwink people about the constitution to make them not support the constitution. Some are saying HH is going to remove 50% plus one. That is another lie. This, in my view, is a typical lie, because if I and whoever has been mentioned is part of Plan B, and people know Plan B, and I'm in UPND, why would you expose me?
Meanwhile, Mr. Bwalia called for reasonable argument on matters relating to the proposed constitution amendment.
Are people still going to say, no, this is advantaging HH after the elections? Not at all. This is why we are saying those who mean well should always say whatever they want to say at the right time. This is not the right time to say HH is more constituencies created in his strongholds, is going to have more powers in parliament because of more numbers. That is just a speculation which is totally uncalled for. The same kind of speculation that was there, that HH wants to raise the presidential tenure from 5 to 7. It has come to be untrue. And HH made it clear.
The Alliance for Accountability Advocates Zambia AAAZ has reviewed the government's roadmap for constitutional reforms and expresses serious concerns about the proposed constitutional amendment as a means to enhance representation for persons with disabilities, youth, and women in governance. Organization Executive Director Luchembe Chilufya says while the organization acknowledges government's recognition of the need for broader representation, especially for youth, women, and persons with disabilities, it firmly believes that amending the constitution in isolation is not the appropriate solution. Mr. Chilufya says constitutional amendments should not be undertaken as a quick fix, but rather as part of a comprehensive, inclusive, and transparent reform process that upholds democratic principles and reflects the voices of all Zambians. He further called for a structured, participatory approach that includes extensive consultation with key stakeholders, including civil society organizations, marginalized communities, and legal experts.
That upholds democratic principles and reflects the voices of all Zambians. We call for a structured participatory approach that includes extensive consultation with key stakeholders, including civil society organizations, marginalized communities, and legal practitioners. We advocate for policies and legislative measures that ensure the effective and meaningful inclusion of youth, women, and persons with disabilities, national decision making processes beyond tokenism constitution amendments. Furthermore, we emphasize that genuine constitutional reforms should be driven by the aspiration of the Zambian.
The Electoral Commission of Zambia (ECZ) has assured all stakeholders and members of the public that it is reviewing the 2019 delimitation report, taking into consideration various factors as outlined in Article 59 of the Constitution of Zambia, in order to provide input into the constitutional review process. In a statement, ECZ Chief Electoral Officer Brown Kasaro says it is important to note that the 2019 delimitation report was as a result of nationwide stakeholder consultations. He says once this internal process is concluded, the Commission will provide a comprehensive update and engage stakeholders accordingly. He added, in terms of electoral reforms, the Electoral Reform Technical Committee (ERTC), which received submissions from a wide range of stakeholders from all the 10 provinces in October 2024, is in the final stages of concluding its report, which, too, in line with the published roadmap, will be submitted to the executive on 22nd April 2025. He says the ECZ remains committed to transparency, stakeholder engagement, and the promotion of a credible electoral process. The Africa Music Experience TEM 2025 has officially been launched today, setting the stage for an unforgettable celebration of music, culture, and talent. This highly anticipated event will bring together an impressive lineup of both international superstars and Zambia's finest artists, offering an unparalleled experience for music lovers from across the globe. Scheduled to take place on 24th May 2025, the Africa Music Experience is more than just a festival. It is a platform aimed at promoting African culture and entertainment on a global scale. During the launch event, Big Time Events lead Chimweka Chileshe shared exciting news about the festival's growth and success. He revealed that as of today, two major international artists have already confirmed their participation, including the renowned Congolese musician Fally Ipupa. This marks a significant milestone for the Africa Music Experience as it continues to attract some of Africa's most influential and respected performers, paving the way for an extraordinary musical experience. The festival promises to be a cultural showcase, highlighting the rich diversity of African music and the power of collaboration across borders.
Banners around, so you already have an idea of who will be there, but we'll get to the official announcement very soon. But we just want to celebrate African culture and through this event. I know we have people from different parts of the continent who are living here in Zambia, whether they came for business, whether they came for school, so they'll get to enjoy the opportunity here. But also we know that people will travel. I know recently people traveled to South Africa, just this year or last year, for an event that was happening there. But we want to be able to do the same as a country. We bring people here and they get to experience, the amazing sounds.
And in other news trending this evening, Czech Republic has handed over a Siam X-ray machine to Lewanika General Hospital Theatre in Mongu. The Cybersecurity and Cybercrimes Bill, which passed third reading, will now be transmitted for presidential assent. Up next, the business news.
5FM Radio Business News. We mean business. Keep you current in commerce, trade, and industry, local and global. It's our business to keep you informed about business.
African Development Bank (AFDB) aspiring presidential candidate Samuel Maimbo has stressed that his vision for Africa is to make sure that the continent is growing at a pace and scale that makes a difference. Dr. Maimbo held a series of engagements in Berlin to formally introduce himself to key development-related parties as a candidate for the presidency of the African Development Bank. Germany is the biggest shareholder in the FDB in Europe. Dr. Maimbo said his discussions on his vision for Africa were broadly well received by the various stakeholders that he engaged in Germany, adding that his three-pronged approach towards growth on the continent, support for African government, and reform of the FDB were all consistent with a strategic partner approach that the German authorities have, which are focusing on sustainable economic development, prosperity, overcoming poverty, and building social protection, health, rule of law, and peace and security. Some of the stakeholders that he engaged include the Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development, BMZ, the Ministry of Finance, the Federal Foreign Office, the German Development Bank, influential foundations, Konrad Adenauer Stiftung, CAS, Germany Africa Foundation, experts from the Brunswick Group, and the Press Table Media. Dr. Maimbo's candidacy has garnered wide support, including endorsements from regional organizations such as SADC and COMESA, and he is committed to engaging African governments and non-regional members to earn their trust and support. The AFDB presidential elections will be held on 29th May 2025 during the bank's Board of Governors meeting, which includes representatives from 54 African countries and 27 non-African countries that are shareholders of the bank. There are 4 other candidates from different African countries that are also contesting the presidency. This is according to a statement issued by First Secretary for Press at Berlin, Germany, Luinda Kashewe. Ends the business news.
5FM Radio Business News. We mean business. Keep you current in commerce, trade, and industry, local and global. It's our business to keep you informed about business.
And in foreign news, the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies say it is outraged that 8 Palestinian medics were killed along with 6 civil defense first responders and a UN staff member by Israeli forces in southern Gaza. 5 ambulances, a fire truck, and a UN vehicle were struck all in Al Shenin on 23 March, a UN official said. 15 bodies were recovered from the scene on Sunday. The Palestine Red Crescent Society said the 9th medic was missing and accused Israel of targeting its staff. And in sports news, the 66th edition of the Copa Libertadores, South America's Champions League, kicks off on Tuesday with the start of the group phase. Over the next 2 months, 32 teams will be whittled down to the last 16, with the knockout phase coming to a close with a one-off final on 29 November. The venue is yet to be decided, but it is likely to be either Brasilia, capital of Brazil, or the Uruguayan capital of Montevideo. With the European Champions League reaching the business stage, it is easy to overlook the Libertadores, but the South American competition is full of fascination of its own. And now the weather.
Class Econ Roof in Africa. Class Econ Roofing, plot 17100 off Katanga Road, 150 meters from Mumbwa Road, Chinika Industrial Area, Lusaka. Class Econ Roofing. Class plus economy. Class Econ. Class Econ Roofing Africa. Class Econ.
The evening is mainly windy at times and warm to mild with few clouds. That item brings us to the end of the news. But before we go, a recap of the top stories. UPND Director General for Media in the Presidential Support System, Frank Bwalia, has pointed out that there is a significant amount of misinformation being spread regarding the constitutional reforms currently underway in the country. The Electoral Commission of Zambia (ECZ) has assured all stakeholders and members of the public that it is reviewing the 2019 delimitation report, taking into consideration various factors as outlined in Article 59 of the Constitution of Zambia in order to provide input into the constitutional review process. And finally, the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies says it is outraged that 8 Palestinian medics were killed along with 6 civil defense first responders and a UN staff member by Israeli forces in southern Gaza. For more news, follow us on Facebook, 5FM Radio Zambia. On behalf of the entire news crew and the technical department, thank you for listening to the Happy World of 5FM. Stay safe and stay tuned to 5FM Radio. My name is Lance Sannie. Enjoy the rest of the evening.